Hello, and welcome back to Roadmap to Wellness. I'm Dr. Pushpa Chauhan, and thank you for joining me as we decode this emotion of jealousy. How are you all doing in understanding and managing the other emotions I've talked about in the past? Anxiety, guilt, depression? Let me know in the comments below. So in this video, we'll explore what jealousy is really saying underneath the surface, a personal story of when I felt jealous and how it was resolved, the good and bad sides of jealousy, and how we can use it for personal insight and healthier relationships. So let's dive in. Jealousy is not the enemy. It's an emotion just like sadness, fear, or joy. And like all emotions, it's not good or bad. It's just a signal. Instead of treating jealousy as something shameful, view it as a mirror. It reflects what you value, desire, or feel is missing in your life, not necessarily what the other person has, but what you believe it represents. It shows up when something or someone we care about feels threatened, like when we feel we might lose love, status, attention, or an opportunity. It may even come from a fear of what we lack, feelings of being a failure, or feelings of inadequacy. Sometimes jealousy says, I want that kind of relationship. I wish I felt that confident. I'm afraid I'm not good enough. It points to our desires, insecurities, and sometimes even unspoken dreams. I'm going to illustrate how these needs were illuminated within me with a story of when I felt jealous in my younger years. Growing up, it was just me and my sister. She's a year younger, and together we were everything to my mom. My mom, she was strict, disciplined, and no nonsense, but we always knew we were loved. We felt seen, important, and cherished by her. Then, when I was about 15, my parents came back from a trip, and my mom sat us down and told us she was going to have another baby. My sister and I were so excited about hearing the news. We had dolls called Baby Alive when we were little, the ones that you feed and change, and we were obsessed with them. Of course, by then we had outgrown dolls, but the idea of a real baby, well, that felt magical. We felt we were prepared. We knew what we had to do because of our practice with our dolls. This was going to be the real thing, a real baby that we'd help to take care of. It felt like our childhood was coming full circle. My sister and I were both all in. We helped set up the nursery way before he was due, picked out the toys, folded little clothes. We even got a say-so in choosing his name. It felt like he was going to be our baby, not just my mom's. And when he was born, oh my gosh, we were so ecstatic. I still remember exactly where we were and what we were doing when we got the news. We couldn't wait to go to the hospital to meet him. When we got there, we were so excited to see him and we were just in awe. But then reality hit. A few days after him coming home, everything shifted. All of my mom's energy, her attention, her time, it went straight to him. And at first I was like, okay, that makes sense. He's a baby. He needs her. But then the days turned into weeks and that little voice in my head got louder. What about us? It hit both of us very hard. My sister and I started feeling left out, like we didn't matter much anymore. In our Indian culture, boys are really valued. And I remember this creeping thought, were we not enough? Had we been replaced? I was sad. I got quiet and withdrew. That's how I usually react when my emotions are hurt. I was feeling jealous and honestly heartbroken. It wasn't just that my mom was focused on the baby. It was that when I tried to help, she wouldn't let me. And that made it even worse. I felt like she didn't trust me or didn't need me anymore. But my mom, she noticed my mood and my behavior. She always notices. One day she asked me what was going on and I just broke down. I told her everything, that I felt like she loved my brother more, that maybe because he was a boy, that it hurt that she didn't let us help, and that I felt like she didn't trust me with him. I remember crying. It was one of those moments where all of the feelings just spilled out, and I believe this was the first time I was able to express everything to her because my emotions were so deep. She listened. And then she explained. She told me that it wasn't about not trusting us, but that newborns required a lot of attention and that they were fragile and needed constant care. But after hearing how I felt, if she had any anxiety about us helping, she put it aside and let us in. We got to hold him, feed him, rock him to sleep, and slowly that jealousy started to melt away. Then, over time, something beautiful happened. In its place came something I didn't expect at all, a deep protective love. I didn't feel just like a big sister. I felt like a second mom. And I saw my mom differently too. I gained this whole new level of respect for her. Somehow, she had enough love in her to go around for all of us. As you can tell from my story, jealousy doesn't always look like anger. I wasn't angry at my mother or my brother, but more hurt about how things had changed and feeling left out. And sometimes jealousy can look like that. It can look like silence, distance, or feeling invisible in your own home. My feelings of jealousy was also about a deep fear and anxiety that I had lost something I could never get back, and that was my place in my mom's heart. But her seeking me out and listening to my feelings let me know she had noticed me and cared. In our conversation, she let me know she loved us all equally and that her heart was big enough to hold enough love for all three of her children. That was the healing moment in my experience because I could see that over time she was able to give all her time and love to all of us. In a child's mind, there is often this belief that love and attention is finite and that there isn't enough love for everybody. And jealousy can come on suddenly and strongly, but it really stems from pain. It makes us feel left behind, forgotten, replaced, but it really hides what we don't want to admit, and that is that we're scared, hurt, or feeling unloved. Now let's take a look at the good side of jealousy, and yes, there is a good side. When we pause and look at jealousy without feeling shame, it becomes a mirror. It shows us what we value. For example, if you feel jealous of a friend's success, maybe it's highlighting your own untapped ambition. If you're jealous in your relationship, maybe it's pointing to a need for reassurance, a deeper sense of security, or more connection. Jealousy can motivate growth as it tells us that this area needs attention, this is something that you want, go after it, or you care about this, don't ignore it. When we listen to jealousy not as an accusation, but as a clue, it teaches us something. Of course, jealousy can also have a destructive side, especially when we ignore it, deny it, or let it fester. From my story, if I had never felt comfortable in expressing my feelings to my mother, or she never tried to address the change in my behavior, that jealousy would have grown into resentment, emotional distance with her and my brother, and a belief that there would be a competition for love. So that's what can happen if jealousy is never worked through or processed. It can leave a lasting emotional imprint that can shape the way a person sees themselves, how they relate to others, and how they respond to situations where there may be perceived feelings of inequality. Personally, it can lead to a self-belief that one is not good enough, feelings of low self-esteem, constant comparison to others, or a fear of being replaced or forgotten. And within relationships, it can show up as possessiveness in friendships or romantic relationships, distrust, and bitterness towards other successes or attention. And at times, it can even lead to sabotage of ourselves or others. Sometimes people can't handle another's success or the attention that they are getting, and so the person feeling the jealousy pushes others away or leaves them first so as to feel like they have some sort of control instead of it being the other way around. Unresolved jealousy can often keep people from truly connecting because they're always afraid of being replaced. Emotionally, it can come out in anger, passive aggressive behavior, criticism, or avoidance. And finally, it can come out in feelings of scarcity, a belief that there isn't enough of resources to go around, like love, money, attention, or success. This kind of mindset can lead to competitive or controlling behaviors, not being happy for others' successes or wins, or a fear of collaborating because of the belief that the other person might get or take everything. In therapy, I often see conflicts in sibling relationships well into adulthood because this emotion has never been resolved. It can lead to permanent rifts in relationships for some, which can be heartbreaking and can create more mental health issues. So, if you've ever felt jealous of a sibling, friend, or partner, it doesn't mean you're bad. It means that you're human. And there's likely something tender beneath it that needs attention, not shame. If you think you might still be holding on to that feeling, try the following. First, get curious about it. Ask yourself, what might my jealousy be trying to tell me? What am I afraid of losing? What do I really want that I don't feel like I have or is being threatened? Is it about them or is it about me? Also, look into your past and ask, when was the first time I remember feeling jealous? What was happening? Am I still carrying that pain? Try to look at the same situation with the wisdom of adulthood or with the knowledge that you have now. Second, honor that emotion and look within. It may be telling you that you need to build confidence or have a hard conversation with someone to share those feelings, or even reevaluate what matters most. Third, use it as a springboard for self-growth. Get education, experience, or talk to someone who's been there and what they did to get there. Otherwise, just share it with someone. Journal or write a letter to that person, alive or deceased, telling them your feelings. If they're alive, you can just write it down. You don't have to send it. It just feels good to let it out. So let jealousy be the start of some healing, not something that hardens your heart. Sit with all of this information and let this emotion guide you towards your goals, not away from your emotional peace. And finally, if you're feeling jealous of a family member, friend, or partner, try to clear the air and strengthen that relationship, because relationships help with maintaining good mental health. I thank you for listening to my story. If it touched something within you, please share your experience in the comments below. And if the information here has helped you to see jealousy differently and hopefully help you to lessen it or release it, please give it a like and subscribe. Please share it with your friends, family, or children, as it is often an issue that gets carried into adulthood and subsequently causes conflicts in relationships and partnerships. Until next time, take care of yourself and be well.